Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Oh my goodness. Wow. What can I say about this awesome film? My friends, yeah, I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I always say that Star Wars is the foundation of my imagination, foundation of my creativity. It's where it all started, In 1977, I was a wee lad when my dad took us to see Star Wars. It was at a drive-in here in town, and we went. And we remember sitting on top of the hood of an LTD, and excuse me, and then seeing a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and then boom, the logo, and then the crawl, and then the ship encompassing or enveloping the whole, screen. Oh, that was magical, incredible. I'll never forget that. Never forget that. I was thinking like 3 years old, 4 years old, something like that. And after that, it was just a love affair. Everything and anything of Star Wars. I remember reading the comic books at a store. I would open, I would open they would come in like in these plastics, right? There would come 3 or 4 of them in a plastic bag. And I remember being in a store and I would open them and I would read them. I would hide away in a corner or something and read them and read them and read them. Oh, it was great. Because I wanted to see where these characters were going, and I wanted more of the characters. I wanted more of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia and R2 and C-3PO and Darth Vader. Oh, Darth Vader, the quintessential villain. Man. Anyway, but Rogue One takes place before Episode 4. When it deals with stealing the plans of the Death Star. But Rogue One is a different film. Whereas we see episodes 4 through 6 and 1 through 3, where it deals with the Jedi's and the mysticism of the Force, and about the relationships and fathers and sons and family and friends and sacrifice. But sacrifice, that word deals. Sacrifice is the word to describe Rogue One, a Star Wars story, the first one of the anthology films, right? Well, I'm gonna review this film. I may say some spoilers or whatever. So if there's some of you out there that have not seen it, go see it and come back and hear what I have to say. I'm gonna try not to spoil it, but it's gonna. I mean, it's not that I'm intentionally gonna spoil it, but it's gonna happen because it's so good. In the opening crawl, of Episode 4, A New Hope, you see in the crawl a few words saying that rebels and Death Star plans, blah blah blah. Well, those 3-4 words, that's Rogue One. We have Felicity Jones plays Jyn Erso, daughter of the man who I think basically makes the Death Star, scientist. But I'm not going to get into the story or whatever. I'm just going to highlight some things. But anyway, it's about the rebels going in and stealing these plans and giving them to the rebels and to the Alliance, and then A New Hope starts. But that's a very different story because, as in the other ones, we talk about the Jedi's and the Force and everything. This one doesn't have any Jedi's. Nothing. These are just a bunch of rebels, a bunch of people out there that are going to make a sacrifice and go out and go on a mission that maybe not all of them, maybe some of them might never come back. But you see throughout the film that the Force is mentioned. The Jedi kind of mentioned. And throughout the movie, it's peppered with nods to, to the fans. There are some characters that come up from A New Hope, just very briefly, and there, that's that person or that's that character or whatever. But anyway, so Jin Erso, the daughter of the scientist or this man who makes the Death Star. Well, she leads these bands of rebels with I think the guy, it's the Diego Luna. His name is Cassian, I think. I need to see the film again another 3-4 times. It's incredible. It's a lot to digest, right? But it's just you're like, oh my god, whoa. But so the Rebel Alliance gets Jin Erso and thinking that they're gonna have this person that can get to her father, and she leads the rebels, and she wants to go save her father, blah blah blah, but Diego Luna wants to go kill him. And during the movie, he has an opportunity, but he doesn't take the shot, Anyway, just this movie is different. This movie reminds me of Saving Private Ryan's Star Wars style, because the action sequences are just mind blowing. Just mind blowing. You see them. You see the battles in the third act, where they're on the planet, where they're like on an island or whatever, and then you see the AT-ATs and the stormtroopers, and I mean it's just full out war. People die and people help and people. I mean, it's just whoa. It's insane. And then in space, there's battle up there too. With the rebels and the bad guys. They're just going all out war. And the Galactic Empire. Anyway, so go see it. I don't even know where to go, how to go with this. Anyway, but it is just an incredible, great story. A great story about sacrifice. A great story that almost has nothing to do with the Jedi's or with the Force is mentioned, but the Force is mentioned as like a religion. May the Force be with us. May the Force be with you, and things like that. And I think it would have been less of a story if a Jedi would have been amongst their ranks. There are a couple people, maybe one person that's touched by the Force, in this story. And the characters, all the characters there are just incredible. But anyway, the one that stood out, the one who had only 2 little scenes, was my man here, Vader. Wow. Wow. When I remember when Lucas did episode 1, 2, and 3, and they were talking about the origin of Darth Vader and this and that, and Anakin Skywalker, blah blah blah, and kind of a whiny little, what? I kind of lost respect, kind of lost, admiration. I don't know, it's a bad guy, but kind of lost respect for Vader and his origins. He wasn't the villain that I thought he was, But Rogue One, in 2 scenes, completely changed, reversed it, reversed my mind, changed my mind again, because you see Vader at his most brutal. You see Vader in his castle. You see Vader at his most, he's very vulnerable, and he's in this tank, and he's just there floating in this black liquid, and then he comes out and he talks to General Critic, and and it shows the dark, and then I think the planet is Mustafar, where he and Obi Wan Kenobi fought, and where Obi Wan Kenobi, cuts his arms off and his legs and stuff, and he burns to a crisp, and where Palpatine comes and saves him, which I find kind of interesting that he picked that as his home, and you see that Anakin Skywalker is no longer there. He's gone, no Skywalker, nothing, Then we fast forward into the last part of the movie where he goes all out Vader, and he kills, and he just goes out all unrelenting, brutal, uses the Force, the dark side. He just is unrelenting in his brutality, where he goes into a hallway of a spaceship. It's all dark, and all of a sudden you see the saber, the red lightsaber, just light him up, and he lights everything up, slices and dices, chokeholds people, deflects lasers, and kills everybody. Oh my goodness, incredible, incredible. They need to make a solo Star Wars movie on Vader. Maybe an anthology, one of these Star Wars stories movies. They should completely focus on him and his descent, or how he goes. In the comics he goes and in the novels he goes out and he goes and he hunts down the remainder of the Jedi and he kills them, and there's a lot of stories of him doing stuff like that. This movie also, how it opens the gates to this world, to the Star Wars universe. It paints a bigger picture of how grand it is. Even though we knew about it, a lot of the fans already knew what the story was about or whatever. But it opens your eyes, and it's like as if you're looking behind a curtain, right? And you're seeing this whole other level, this whole other world that took place. Also, how these writers and the director, how they beautifully executed the story, because as this is happening, you start connecting the dots, right? From A to B to C to D to A New Hope to Episode 4. And how they do it is just incredible. It's just geniuses, man. Just fantastic. And it's just, I can't wait what are the stories they're gonna do, I know that they're gonna do a Han Solo one the year after next. And then also with episode 8 and 9 and 10, or 8 and 9, and then the other. So I can't wait to see the Han Solo movie. I can't wait to see, and I think it's going to be the Yoda story, or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hopefully it's Yoda, because, Yoda's a mystery. We don't even, a lot of us, we don't even know where Yoda came from. How he became who he became. But anyway, the action sequences, the horror, and it's dirty, it's gritty, There's some humor, you'll fall in love with some of the characters, A lot of people are saying that the characters were flat. And I go, no, man. We are looking inside of a glimpse of the history of what happened. It's a glimpse. We don't have time for lovey-dovey. We don't have time for any type of cutesy stories or whatever. This is happening. There's a mission. We need to execute this, and we need to succeed. If not, bad things are going to happen. And that's exactly what it is. They go in, they do their job, and unfortunately, and this is the great thing, not that I'm celebrating this, but they all die. Every single one of them die. Can you imagine? Wow. Incredible. As the story was unfolding before my eyes, and I'm asking myself, no, this isn't going to happen. This isn't going to happen, They have the action figures out there already, and what are they going to tell the kids, But I got to give credit to Disney and Lucasfilm, the writers and the director. The director, Gareth Edwards, fantastic. This is a story in epic scope, man. Epic scale. He directed the new Godzilla movie that came out a few years ago. And, man, The scenes, the story is just grand, epic, and then very so. And then it centers, with this group of this band of rebels. You gotta give Disney, Lucasfilm, writers, you gotta give them credit because it was very brave of them to execute, to kill off their characters, because that was the only way to move the story forward, right? And to tell a good story. And it was very brave of them. I gotta hand it to them. They did an excellent job. They didn't want to there isn't going to be a Rogue One Part 2. There isn't going to be a continuation of this story. Well, of course it is. It's a New Hope, right? But these characters, that's it. I mean, they could probably do prequels of it, I'm not sure. But that's it. Rogue One is Rogue One. That was the story. That was the glimpse. That was the tale of how the Death Star plans were stolen and given to the Rebel Alliance, No help from any Jedis, no nothing. Again, like I said before, there were mentions and peppered of the Jedi and of the Force, But in the grand scope of things, I love this. I love Star Wars, and in particular, how this story I think it rejuvenated everything. It rejuvenated the way I felt about Darth Vader. Rejuvenated the way I felt about A New Hope, because now I want to see A New Hope again. Isn't that incredible? That's funny. I'm excited again. I was excited last year, of course, with Force Awakens, but the scale of the story and the way they told the story, that they're not just hinging on a Jedi or hinging on the Force. Again, like I said before, Force is mentioned. It's mentioned like a religion, something mystical. And Jyn Erso carries a crystal that the Jedis use for their lightsabers. She wears it here. She has it as a necklace. Her father gave it to her. And she says, "May the Force be with us, be with all of us." And awesome, just awesome. You go Disney, you go Lucasfilm. They don't need to rely on the Jedi, but it does tell you that there's more out there. That you have to have your mind and your heart and your soul open, that there's something more. And that something more can help us. And everything that we are, that we do, no matter what it is, no matter if it's everyday life or if we're on a mission where maybe we don't come back, but that beautiful thought, that beautiful thing of that knowing that there's something more out there, and the sense that it helps us do what we gotta do. Boom! Love it. The sequences, man, it reminded me of Saving Private Ryan. But it sure did. Anyway, incredible. Highly recommended. So, if you guys should go see it, whatever, go see it. Go see it right now. Probably the best film for me of the year. I don't really go to the movies a lot, but this I wanted to go see. If it's Star Wars, I have to. I need to. Have to. And so good, so good, so good, so good. Vader and his brutality. These guys sacrificing themselves. The story. Also, this movie is going to go down in history. It's going to revolutionize certain things about digital actors. I think the actor Peter Cushing, who plays Tarkin, Randolph Tarkin, well, he comes out, but in the digital form, because the gentleman passed away years ago, and he comes out in the movie, and and I know that the man had passed, and I'm seeing him on screen, and I'm almost completely sold that it's him in the flesh. If I wouldn't have known or whatever, I would have just they would have totally sold it, you know. But it's amazing, amazing with what they do with technology these days. Excuse me. And oh my goodness, I would not be surprised if they start bringing back Marilyn Monroe and a bunch of different actors that have gone since passed, you know, and start putting them into different stories, different movies, you know. I would not be surprised because the way they did this was just amazing. And the only reason I didn't buy it, you know, was because I already knew that this man had passed, you know. But wow, incredible, incredible. But anyway, Rogue One, Star Wars story, fantastic, awesome. Go watch it. We'll see it. And 10 jalapenos out of 10.
An experience that I can never ever forget.
Anyway, there it is.